Are you on for the camera?
It is now Wednesday, July 1st, 2026. In this, I don't know what you call it, our big year, 250 years.
Sesquicentennial.
Sesquicentennial year. Okay. I need a motion for an approval of the board minutes of June 17th.
I'll make a motion that we approve the board minutes for June 17th.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Did anybody read anything they have a comment on? Make it a little discussion here on this or not?
Minutes
Everything
were printed.
acceptable.
Yes.
Okay. Let's have a vote. Unanimous. Second, to approve the payment of claims in accordance with the Indiana State Board of Accountants, Code 511.10.1.6.
I'll make a motion that we approve the payment of claims.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any discussion on the payment of claims?
Everything's just fine, Mary.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a vote? Unanimous. The next regular meeting will be held on Wednesday, July 15th, 2026, 4 p.m. this building. Public comment. Do we have any public comment? On your, no?
No.
Nope. Old business. Any old business, anybody?
No.
No.
New business. 6A, approve the lead service line replacement phase 1, change order number 1, attachment 6A.
I'll make a motion that we accept 6A. It's written.
Second the motion.
And the memorandum,
Where's second?
Yeah.
and the memorandum attachment to it.
So for clarification, on the discussion on that one, the memorandum, Jamin, correct me if I'm wrong, found that the main break was in no relation to the work being performed by Watson.
They did not cause the
They
main
did
break.
not cause
It was related to the work they were doing.
Yeah.
The pipe must have already been weakened.
Okay.
It was near the end of the day, so their guys worked overtime. They already had locates. If they'd have left and we had to call our own locates in, that would have cost several more hours. They already had their equipment there. They dug for us. We provided the clamps and stuff like that. We put them on. This is the one that we talked about a couple months ago. We had to issue a boil order out there to West 5th Street, I believe.
Yes.
And Jamin, on the time and material, all of it looked in line to me from what I would typically see. Were you okay with all the work?
Well, the
and
engineers reviewed it too, and they
Yes.
commented that it was within reason of what they would anticipate from. I mean, it was several hours.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, time for a vote. All those in favor? Unanimous. B, approval of the Highway 19 and 300 South Sewer Relocation Engineer Contract.
I'll make a motion we accept attachment 6B.
Second the motion.
Okay, so NDOT has been threatening to redo this intersection for about 5 years. This is the one on Highway 19 at 300, just north of the Bacon Factory. There is a box culvert that runs diagonal. There's a creek that comes in from the southwest-ish, going northeast, and a box culvert that runs diagonal under this intersection. They've decided it's too short and too small. We have water and sewer lines that go around the ends of this. And the sewer line, because the box culvert's gonna get wider and deeper, is in the way of their stuff. So the rules are that if a utility has infrastructure in a state highway, and the state highway decides they need that space, you have to move at your cost. Now, if it's really expensive, if it's more than 10% of your annual revenue, which would be $300,000, probably more, I don't know, then that would be the limit of what we would have to pay. We don't know this is just a 6-inch force main. It's only gonna be 5 feet deep. It's PVC, we just have to reroute it around the end of their culvert. But it has to be engineered, and since the engineers working for INDOT have already done the topo, done the soil borings, and done all that stuff, we just asked them to include the design for the reroute of the force main in the rest of their stuff. So this is us paying them separate from their other contract to do this. This is the most expedient, and we think the least expensive way to do it. This also gets it included in the contract so that the same contractor's doing all of it, and two contractors aren't fighting each other about who gets to dig where when. But this portion is only for the engineering. And we did have
That's
this.
not for the price of the construction of it, right?
Nope.
Just engineering.
When will you have an estimate, or when do you expect an estimate on the actual construction cost?
INDOT is so unpredictable. They're designing it now, so I imagine it'll be at least a year, if not 2, before they are. I should have an estimate before that, but it totally depends on what the contractor bids. We did see this coming, and we did have money in the budget for this. I think I had $40,000 in the budget, so I think 40,800 isn't too bad.
Is there any chance we can do that work ourselves once they lay out the engineering portion of it?
This is the force main that the bacon factory pumps to. So we could run in hundreds of feet of pipe is not what we do.
Okay. You anticipate hundreds of feet then, not just a 30, 40-foot jog?
They're trying to extend this culvert far enough out that
Okay.
they can do the slopes and not have to do guardrails. So we're going to be out near the right of way gets real big and wide there. This pipe's going to be out near the edge of the right of way. I think it'll be 150 feet of pipe,
Okay.
plus some valves that have to be inserted, and
Okay.
This coming later date, right?
yes, whenever INDOT lets the project, we're doing the engineering now. But I've seen these projects, we've done the engineering and then they disappear for 3 years and then bang, they're on board again. We've been waiting for this one for 5 years.
And when you say you felt like we had 40,000 budgeted for this, is that just the engineering portion we had the 40,000 for?
Yeah.
Okay, do we have budgeted the,
I had the 40 in this year's budget.
okay,
I
perfect.
don't have anything budgeted for next year or the year after for the project, because we'll put something in for next year,
Okay,
but we'll get an engineer's estimate and work from there.
Is that it for discussion? Thank you, Chairman.
You're welcome.
We have a vote. It's unanimous. Thank you. 6C. Approve arrowhead bore work bid, attachment 6C.
I'll make a motion to accept attachment 6C.
Second the motion?
Thank you. Do we have a discussion on this? Anyone have any comments to make?
have you worked with Daystar before?
We have not, but I believe
We did, yeah.
D-Star.
They did. Yes, they did the river crossing over here, 24-inch line. They struggled because of the boulders and stuff like that, but they were still good to work with.
Okay.
We were going to have them do a crossing on Highway 31 because the state was also doing something stupid with a culvert over there that turns out that we didn't need. But yeah, they're
You
good.
guys are confident.
yes.
Any other comments? take a vote. All those in favor? Unanimous, thank you. 6D, Whistler.
Make motion to accept 6D attachment and a memorandum that goes along with it.
I'll second the motion.
Second. Okay, let's have a discussion. You had an interesting question you wanted to ask, Richard?
Yeah, well, I'd like to know,
Louder.
being that we're gonna update this system, how long is this system gonna last? Approximately.
The current SCADA system we're operating off of was installed sometime around 2008. So 20 years is a long time for a computer and SCADA system to be in operation, but they are robust. We'll probably have to change some parts out over the years, kind of like you have to do with a car, but I would anticipate this would be another 20-year SCADA system.
20-year span.
Yep.
Okay.
And this was budgeted as well. You did,
Yes, we budgeted $60,000. The engineer's the engineer's cost on this is $77,000. Part of that is the PLCs. We didn't realize were bad or going bad, so they're going to include that in the price of the project.
and then the other funds we can allocate from,
We have a plant equipment rehab that 175, we're not gonna come near that on the other things that we're replacing there, so we'll reserve the extra $17,000 from that fund to cover this. And then there will be additional costs next year to actually build this project.
So the $180,000 approximately, and then you come down there, administrative programming, another estimate for $380,000.
Yep,
So we're gonna combine those, make it a 60,000.
yep. And we have money in the current capital budget, or capital funds and the capital budget to cover the cost of these updates. They will be in subsequent years' budgets.
And this will be no increase in rates to our customers.
That is correct.
Good.
With no way to tell for future year budgets.
What's
Pardon?
I just wanna say with no way to tell if we're gonna put that into next year's budget for the additional.
that? Yeah, well,
We
we don't
can't-
have the exact numbers. but-
Right, I'm
We
just
have-
saying we can't forecast that.
But we have more than enough money in the capital fund and what we're gathering in the capital.
For this current
For-
budget year, and no rate increase because of this specific.
The whole project. The extra, the 500,000 that comes later, we can cover the entire thing.
Thank you, Mary, for reminding me of that.
Okay. Any other comments, please? All right, let's have a vote. All in favor, unanimous. Takes us down to the long-term control plan update.
Jim?
The wastewater plant is continuing construction, as Josh mentioned last time. All the big stuff is done. They're starting to get to final grade. They're starting to fine tune some of the equipment that's getting installed. And we're waiting for the contractor on the big pipe project to let us know when they want to break ground again. He was talking fall into winter for that, so.
Is that Canal Street?
Second Street, yes,
Yeah.
and Canal.
Well, Canal
Yes.
Street first and
Yep.
go to Canal Second.
Yeah, so likely there won't be anything substantive in the long-term control plan update for some months.
Repeat that date again, that you said possibly getting that started.
The contractor suggested late fall, early winter. So October, November-ish.
And Jamin, is the snake system part of that?
Yep. That'll be constructed, at least, that's where they're gonna start.
Yeah.
And then they'll go either west or east on Second Street from there.
Okay. City administration update, Mr. Fisher, please.
The mayor wasn't able to meet with me today to give me any information. So just some things that are going on. They're continuing to work on the First Farmers Bank building. They're hoping that a restaurant will open up sometime in October. And then apartments, sometime next spring. And then I remember it's Kresge's, but it's called Scarborough, the Scarborough building on Broadway, at the corner of Fifth and Broadway. They are back on track with doing work on that, so we've seen some significant, improvements on the facade over the last 2 weeks. There's a demolition permit for the was Taco John's, and then it was Garden Gate across from Harvey Hinklemeyer's. Demolition for that, so they can start working on the Jimmy John's that's coming to that location.
Nobody believes me when I say that.
I know, because it just drags on, yeah. But it is true.
That's what I said.
And there's some other things that are in the works that just are going slower than we had hoped. That some announcements will come down the road. So, and that's all I had. But I do have two quick questions because I've been asked by citizens about it. You know, at the city council meeting last month, Josh had mentioned about the lead line replacement where they've got gravel in there. They were going to, once they pull that gravel out and do the replacement, they're gonna fill it back and pave over those spots. Do you know when that's going to, I haven't seen much action, but maybe I'm looking in the wrong spots. Is that going?
They haven't started paving, but they're planning on starting. We have last call for people to get there.
Okay, so that's what's kind of holding it up is.
He doesn't want to pave a road until he's done with all of the service lines.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And he can't do the utility side
Yeah.
until he has agreement that he can also do the homeowner side.
Okay,
And so we have last call, I think, next week or week after.
okay.
And so after that point, when he does a road, he'll be
Okay.
paving it.
Got it.
So I would say
That's what I'll tell him.
this month.
That's what I'll tell them. And the other thing, we see a lot of green markings around manhole covers in town. Do you know what's going on with that? Like,
It's green paint.
yeah,
If someone is digging in the area
okay, that's what
and
that means.
they call in to locate,
Okay,
and then we paint green showing where the sewers go,
okay,
and blue showing where the water lines go, and the gas company paints yellow showing where the gas is,
okay,
and that tells the contractor what's going on,
Yeah.
what pipes are where.
okay, because this is around, sewer covers and things that are in multiple spots. And then like down on Holman Street, there's a sewer cover there, but that's blocked off with cones and barrier. I'm not sure about that. I was just wondering what kind of project was going on related to, those being marked.
Well, we, after hearing about the project that was gonna go on at the Ivy Tech, we
Oh.
made sure we knew exactly where our sewers were, and we painted them out
Okay,
so that when plans get drawn, there's no surprises,
Okay.
cause that sewer line goes under that building.
gotcha. Okay. Thank you. That answers my question.
Okay. Anybody have anything else to say?
Attorney update.
Oh, I know. We're getting there. Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Next would be our city attorney's update. Mr. Kern.
I did not go off on that gentleman this week.
Okay, good.
A little more cordial there. But we're getting our own appraisals performed. That way we know the value, actual value of what the easement's actually worth. And we're going to do that then, so we can say, hey, this is top dollar we can pay, because we can only pay the average of the two appraisals, so. And I don't think he's gonna like what that number comes out to be. But that's just my opinion.
Has he done an appraisal on it yet?
No,
Okay.
his own appraisal.
All right. That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll go to our manager substitute, Mr. Beisenbach.
So I believe Josh has mentioned before, the idea of us bringing our own tree trimmers on board. So it's become kind of apparent in the last 2 years that it's getting more and more difficult for tree companies to staff. We're constantly cycling through crews, which leaves us scrambling to get our work done, and then also to get assistance with the on storms. So we've kind of dug more deep into it lately. I think utilizing our own employees to do this, similar to how we did locates, we can be more efficient, more effective, and probably do it for cheaper than what we're paying now. I think a rough estimate for what our initial capital investment would probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of $750,000 to $1 million, $750,000 to $1 million, and then probably 2 to 3 employees beyond that. So this isn't sharing.
In terms of the employees, what are you looking at in terms of if you have somebody that has experience tree trimming, but what other kinds of skills, obviously that's just a periodic responsibility. What other kinds of things would they be doing?
Oh, it would not be periodic, it'd be full-time, year-round.
Year-round? You have that?
And then we can, if for whatever reason they're not tree trimming, then we can utilize them as groundmen with the line department as well. We would train them and keep them cross-trained and everything. But it's absolutely full-time work. So this is some numbers Mike Walsh, our planning engineer, and Catherine, our electrical engineer, put together for us, and they did a really great job on this. But so, year by year here, we can see this first chart is the percentage of actual outage time. This is minutes people are out of power and the cause behind it. So a lot of this is trees. I've included wind and storm in here too, because some of it breaks down to how the linemen, in his mind, he could say that the wind blew the tree over, so wind caused it. So it kind of depends on how they decide to code it. And then the percentage of the actual outages that are related to trees. So this is, you see it hovers around 20%. So 1 out of every 5 outage calls is tree related. And then you can see the minutes here. It's 78% in 2018, kind of hovering in that 40 to 50% range. So 40 to 50% of our outage minutes are related to trees. And then coming down here into our tree trimming, this is what we've actually spent here. So you can see from 2018 to 2024, we almost doubled our tree trimming budget. But on the circuit miles trimmed here, so we're seeing an almost 200% increase in expenditures, and we're only getting about 50% more circuit miles trimmed. And on the average that this is breaking down to, this is about a 17-year rotation to keep every circuit trimmed. So looking at $500,000, give or take, to get every tree once every 17 years. So that's obviously it's unsustainable for us. So we think if we were to bring it in-house, we get more flexibility, and we've got better quality control over how this works. So 2025, you can see the circuit miles were down and the budget was down, and that was because the quote came back on what we initially put out, and it was so exorbitant we just couldn't do it. So we took what we could get on the circuit miles trimmed, and we realized, we recognize that we can reallocate some of that funding somewhere else. And then this year we've gone for less circuit miles, but we've got more hotspots we need to send them to and do time and material work, and time and material work is significantly more expensive. So we try to stay away from those kind of things. But so you can see here, we're spending $300,000 to $450,000 a year on tree trimming, and it's still 50% of our outages. And realistically, we're going to need to increase this budget to probably $750,000 a year to $1 million to get ahead of the trees. Because if we're only maintaining, we're actually falling behind. So to make up ground on the trees and to try to minimize these outages for the customers. We just had one last night, another pretty big outage on 19 North. The tree came down the lines. It's hours to fix that kind of stuff, and we didn't even have to replace a pole. It's just putting the wire back up and getting the tree out of the line itself. So without having specialized tree trimmers, that falls on the lineman, and that's a whole doing arborist work is there's a whole, that's why it's its own profession, because it's a skill, and linemen frankly just do not get the training on it, and they don't get to do it frequently enough to really hone that skill. But so this is something we've kicked around, and we think obviously that it's beneficial to the ratepayers.
How will you come up, or how will the Peru utilities come up with that additional annual cost or budget of what, $400 to $600?
We'll have to reallocate. We'll have to reallocate from other places. It's like anything that's causing 50% of our outages, we need to address, and we need to move things around and at least try to improve on that.
But that would be reallocating funds. If we have to increase from the current budgeted amount to the $750,000 you estimate, if we have to contract out and catch up.
Correct.
The only thing we would be looking to increase is the initial capital investment.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we would just be onboarding 2 to 3 employees, which you estimate would be less than, significantly less than this budget, even with insurance costs, you think?
So it looks like it's about a 3-year break even on the way things currently are, after the initial investment and then the increased salaries. But if we increase that budget to where it probably should be and where we need to put it at, it's probably 2 years-ish. But it's a big leap for us, and it's gonna, the initial costs that we have to incur, and then we're gonna need to get these guys trained somehow, and obviously none of us are arborists, so we'll probably have to outsource that somehow. But
We haven't always completely outsourced it. Wasn't it done at least partially by us in previous years? And I'm talking about like 5 or 6.
I've been here 10 years and I've never.
Okay, so it has been contracted out
When I first
For
came
the
here in
last-
'06, we were using Townsend,
fully. Okay.
Townsend Tree. So they've been doing that, outsourcing this for a long, long time.
Okay.
We've got 325 miles of circuit lines to trim trees for. So there's, we can't just have linemen that do that.
Right.
So what kind of equipment do you think you'll need to?
We're thinking another bucket truck and a chipper and potentially a pickup truck.
Yeah, I was gonna say with 3 of those, I guess it also depends on where depreciation is and how often we'd have to replace to get, but I would assume that's also all gonna be figured into the long-term budget for
I anticipate putting it on the same replacement plan as the lineman bucket trucks, 10-ish years per truck.
Mike, do you estimate, like, the closer we get to this, having something more formal in form of memorandum on, like, those cost estimates on the upfront?
Yes, you'll have hard numbers.
Okay.
Not just me looking at it. Trucks.com.
Keep working on it, Michael.
You'll
Yes,
get
sir.
what it would, look like as far as what savings this would pass on to the ratepayer would be in there.
Yeah, this was just our kind of a formal introduction to the concept.
And you say 2 to 3 employees, do you lean towards the 3?
A lot of that is probably going to be which direction Josh would like to go. If we go with 2, we have to account for vacations and sick days, and then you've got 1 guy, so we're either pulling someone from the line department to go work with them, or we're pulling him back to the line department. Whereas if you get 3, you can more or less account for 1 guy being gone all the time, or one employee.
Consider talking about salary ranges.
We've discussed it, and we've talked to Logansport has their own tree crew, so I spoke with their superintendent about it. We think we've got a good track record of being fair with employees, and paying what the industry rate is, and what we can, what the ratepayers can absorb. Which we hope to continue with tree trimmers if we hire tree trimmers.
Okay.
And then I think Jamin has a couple
I do.
things he's got to touch on.
As part of the wastewater plant upgrade, one of the projects that was budgeted for in that was there was an allowance to clean out the existing tanks that hadn't been cleaned in 20 years of the accumulated debris that collects in the bottom of tanks. So there was an allowance in the contract of 4,607 cubic yards. The first half of the plant used up 3,267 of that 4,000. So we're going to go over that budget, and rather than run the rest of that cleaning through the contractor, we're going to pay this subcontractor directly for the rest of this cleaning. It has to be done. If there's money left over at the end of the project, if we haven't spent all the contingency money, we can get this reimbursed by the IFA. But this is something that we can't not do. There are feet of sand in the bottoms and in the intermediate levels of these tanks. So we're probably looking at something in the neighborhood of 3,000 cubic yards.
On top of the 3,000 already removed.
Yes.
Or, okay.
And what cost is that going to be? Do you know?
100 and something per cubic yard, so it's going to be
300,000, 400,000,
now.
Between 3 and 4.
approximate.
And the reason, no one really knew. When you look in these tanks, you can see the top of the water, and the water's murky. And we did drain one set of tanks, and we looked in there and saw, piles of this stuff everywhere. But to actually measure how much there was, the allowance was a guess that we all just agreed on. And nobody knew. Didn't think it was this bad, but just letting you know, we'll have something more formal in a couple weeks. We'll also have a better idea on what we're looking at, because the contractor's currently still just working on this, so.
Very good.
Thank you.
Good to know. In anticipation of. Anything else anyone would like to touch on? Speak on? Richard?
No.
Oh,
Happy 205th anniversary this weekend.
well, thank you. You pointed at me, but I'll take it.
That's to everybody,
That's right.
not just.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. I think we need a motion to
adjourn.
close.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you very much.